If we got paid in peanuts, we'd still do it. Like if there's no, like it's for the love of the game a little bit.
Yeah.
We love to play music, period.
The Mark Howley Show. How did you do it and why?
Hey, this is Mark from the Mark Howley Show. Today we got the Warhawks on with us, and looking forward to meeting the band and talking a little about what they're up to. I heard some great stuff about you, so why don't each one of you give us an introduction, tell us a little bit about yourself. Somebody start.
I'm Matt.
Hey, Matt.
How you doing, man? I play
Hey, Matt.
guitar and I sing in the band.
Okay.
Everybody actually sings in the band, but yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah, I know. I read about that. Everybody sings, right?
Yeah,
That's cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
It's fun, but yeah, that's me.
I'm Zach. I've been in the band for like 3 weeks.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Zach. Just happy to be here, man.
Cool. Thanks for coming on.
My name's Pat. People call me PB. I play drums and sing
All right.
and songwrite.
Good.
I'm the younger brother of,
Brother of.
last but not least.
I'm John. I play guitar and sing.
Okay.
And I wrote all the hits.
You wrote all the hits.
I wrote
eh?
all the hits. And that's my younger brother. And Matt's actually related to. He's like my cousin. So.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Matt
actually
Orlando.
unrelated.
All right. I got that down.
Named after Florida City, yeah.
Right on. Florida
Okay.
City, really?
No,
Is that's where you got your musical thing going?
I guess so. Yeah, I
There
don't
we
know. I
go.
think we were around
Orlando,
before
all
the
right,
city
all
or
right.
the state. Yeah,
But
but
good for you. Good for you. So, one of the questions that came to my mind is, so define your music. Like, I've listened to it, but I kind of go, so what do you call yourself?
we've been called the Ugly Beach Boys.
That's good.
before.
That's good.
Yeah, actually, when we were down not far from Orlando, Florida, so it's a coincidence there. But yeah, it's kind of like the Clash meets the Beatles. We got
Yeah.
pop in there, but also punk and alternative. We grew up listening to like Weezer and all the '90s stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of all over the place. But it's accessible, but it's got aggression in it too. So
Yeah. So what made you pick that format? I mean, was there something that kind of said, I want to be that, or you just find it?
I think we just found it. It's just the combination of all the influences we've had, and we all kind of like the same bands, like this, and then just like the mix of all of it. Just we're not trying to go for a certain sound or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's kind of just this is what comes out of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of play what we like to listen to.
Uh-huh.
So, anything that we enjoy,
Uh-huh.
you can hear it influenced like in our music that we write now.
Yeah.
It's
Zach's a little different. Zach likes metal though. He's a
Uh-oh.
metalhead.
That's
Zach,
cool. It's gonna add a dark
we
element.
had to have a dose of ass kicking.
And sometimes we see it as like a little project. Like, hey, I really want to sound like the Clash on this next song. Let me try to get as close as I can. It ends up being your own thing anyway. But you reach for the moon, you fall amongst the stars type thing.
Yeah,
You
I
get a
was
song- pretty
I'm
good song
a big
anyway.
Clash fan.
Yeah.
Big time. That was. Yeah, I just love the Clash to this day. I probably that London Calling album. I can go back and forth on that thing and just never turn it off. It just from the moment I heard it, it just lit me up.
We did an anniversary London Calling show.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, we already did.
yeah, it was the
cool.
40th anniversary.
40th anniversary.
Yeah, our local radio station over in Philly, WXPN.
Yeah, I know
88.5.
WXPN.
Yeah, they had the 40th anniversary a few years back, and they asked us to do one of the. I think we picked the first side or whatever, and
What'd you pick?
We played sides
the first
A
like,
and B. Yeah.
Yeah,
of
we did
double
the first
album.
5 songs we did on the radio, and then the following day they had like an actual show for people to come out, just like huge fans, and we did the whole first half of the album, and then another band.
Yeah,
did
the
the,
horn
was it-
section.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
awesome.
really? It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, it was the day that James Harry was born.
Yeah, day
His
my son was born. I
so
was
he-
actually in the labor room watching the guys on a screen. And Zach was my replacement that day. Yeah,
Yeah,
Zach
actually
was
had
filling in
stage,
actually
Yeah,
on
Zach
guitar.
filled in. That was like one of the first times we really jammed on
Yeah,
the
I mean,
stage.
I have 5 daughters, so I watched it go on a lot of times.
Right.
It was one time, it was pretty crazy. My 4th daughter was being born, and in my business, I had to go to this place, right? So I didn't want to make it like my priority was to get there versus having a healthy baby. But my wife got to like 40 weeks. So I'm just sitting with the doctor and I'm like, I don't want to get in the way of nature, but, give me a little beat on this, So actually it became, but at 42 weeks, they said they would induce. But, obviously, that was a little delicate one to mention. But, that's how I like you guys, you got to make money. And You know, so you got to, while your baby's being born, you got to watch some video. It's just good priority.
Yeah, that was just for my own benefit. Just seeing the guys on stage. Yeah, that wasn't a necessity, but
Plus,
I was confident Zach wouldn't mess my parts up. Yeah.
Plus, rather than watching some of that stuff, because it's a beautiful experience, but it's pretty trippy.
You got the whole crowd to sing "Happy Birthday" when I'm there in the living room. And I heard a whole crowd in Philly singing it.
Well, I can't go on without saying I heard you sing the Eagles song. So I mean that once I heard the Eagles song, I'm like, well, I got to talk to these guys. I mean, what else are you going to do? And I mean, and I don't want to diverge from our conversation here too much. How much do we kick those guys' ass?
A lot.
I mean,
it was great. Man.
Yeah, sent them
It was a
bitches
great
home.
It was a great team. Yeah, our label, Blue Collar Records, our label president Gary, he's like, why don't you just do a cover of the fight song? We were like,
yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's like a lot of people do it. He's like, just make it your own. And we did it.
Yeah,
did a cool
recorded
version
in his
of it.
basement. He's got shrines to every Philly team ever. He's just got like signed autographs, all this stuff. Just his basement is a shrine to all Philly sports teams.
Well, I don't want to get too far about
He's
it.
a
We'll move
collector.
on to another subject here. But Mike Schmidt, I'm in love with Mike Schmidt. Okay, I'm sorry. I believe him for my wife. I've informed him of that. Bryce Harper,
Yes.
I'm trying to get him married to one of my daughters. I've been trying hard, really hard. And, sometimes I just say you got to sacrifice some moral things in order to get, Bryce,
good of the family.
Mr. Harper.
Sure. Yeah,
I mean, what are you going to do? I got no choice.
Right.
But anyway, back to, so you guys are all hanging out in Gloucester, right? Which, by the way, if you're from Gloucester, it's not as cool as Delaware County. It's just a hair off.
Yeah, right.
You know that. But anyway, so what? I mean, you're going to do this together, and you say, okay, what's the inspiration? What's the spark? What makes you say, let's just do it at a more, maybe a deeper level? What was it that made you just say, we're going to start
like
doing
a calling, really. I think it's like anything else. Like, why does an athlete train so hard, and why does why does he wake up and run all day or whatever, or why do they? I don't know. If you're a swimmer, you go in the ocean, you swim. Why do you push yourself? Why do you climb mountains? I don't know. It's just like a given thing. I don't know if God given or whatever from beyond, but
I think it's
it drives us.
a psycho level of loving music. Like I feel like we love music, and then there's just this next level, next gear of a car that all of us have deep inside us. That's never really been said, but it's just I love music so much. It's coming out of me. I got to get it out into the world, and it was like a raw feeling that eventually you just through practice starts to come to fruition, and then.
It was super natural.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been hanging out because we're family. We've been hanging out since we were like little kids. Like, there's like a swim club. It was like 4 and 5 year olds, So then when we got into like around like high school, we used to like make like dumb movies and stuff, and just started getting like creative. And then
They weren't dumb. They were sick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They were
awesome.
Whoa!
Listen, I was the main actor.
Yeah.
Because he knew how to throw a punch and do the sound effects. I always could take
Every
the
movie
punch
ended
well.
with
They
him.
were
beating-
Scorsese.
Every-
Yeah, I won't lie. But
Every
yeah,
plot,
I could
every
pick that
plot
up.
ended with me getting my ass beat on camera.
that was the early ones.
Yeah. I saw the one where you dressed up like, one of you dressed up like a superhero.
That was
you're like
that was our
flying.
buddy. Yeah,
That was a friend. That's a
That was
friend,
our
yeah.
buddy Kevin
Shout out to
Brownie.
Brownie.
Shout out
Yeah.
Brownie.
He's the number one realtor around, and we got him to be the superhero for this.
Yes, if you
No
need your
lack
house
of, no
sold,
lack
hit
of,
up
no
Brownie.
lack of complete lack of vanity, because he's taking his shirt off and it's like,
absolute
lovely.
legend, absolute legend.
Absolutely
The
lovely. We
confidence is
needed.
so cool.
I was the first person I thought of. I was like, we need an actor. We need someone who everyone likes and everyone would root for.
Yeah, and the
I thought
director
of
was like,
Kevin Brown.
Do you think Brownie would be, he texted me, do you think Brownie would be cool with getting down to his underwear? I said, you're going to have to text him about that
I
one.
said,
man.
yeah,
I
you're
have
gonna
no
have.
I-
That's between
I
you.
have no
cool.
idea. That's
He was
between
good.
you and
My
God
name's
and
Paul,
Brownie. I
and
have
that's
no
between
idea,
you.
man. Yeah.
and he didn't get out of his underwear. Thank God. I'm like, oh my God. Just think.
Well, there is
We
a
gotta- we gotta
director's
make it-
cut. There's a
Yeah, there's a
director's
director's
cut
cut
floating
somewhere.
around. You have to pay a little
you
bit
got,
more
listen,
for it.
I'm doing the show. You got to get me that director's cut,
You're gonna have to
I got
hit
a
him
lot
up.
of friends in Philly. That'll be blasted out to them in a heartbeat. So let me get down to this. Now, what is your function in the band? I mean, you got to tell us what's going on.
Mainly bass.
Yeah.
I'm doing a little guitar tracks here at the studio, but
Okay.
bass. So,
And how did you come into contact with these guys?
well, I met them, like 2018, 2019-ish. I play
go.
in like a rock and roll blues band called the
Okay.
Dead Flowers.
Okay.
Just been playing shows with them for a long time. And they hit me up to play. So, and they came calling. I was like, hell yeah, man.
So you talk about wanting to do it for your whole life and just driven. they say that people who do something that has passion is they do it because they truly internally feel like they have no choice. You know, it's just like, I've heard that a lot about myself and being a small business guy. You know, why would you take risks and do something like that? Well, why? I had no choice. I just truly internally felt like I didn't have a choice. Is that accurate for you guys?
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else I'd be interested really in doing other than what we're doing right now, you know?
Yeah, like we're from back east. We're from Philly area, and we flew across the country. I'm not working, this is 18 days without I have a job, I work at a pawn shop back in Jersey, but out here, we're completely in for almost a month out here recording a record.
So does somebody come to you with like a stolen car and you just flip them some cash and then
we
let them go?
We don't ask questions. It depends. Depends on the situation.
It's
we got a
more
nice
than
business. We run a nice business.
like if we got paid in peanuts, we'd still do it. Like if there's no it's for the love of the game a little bit.
Yeah.
We love to play music. Period. We
And
love
so
the crowds.
what you're
we love
doing
to
on the side to make
record.
some money is just to carry the boat.
just to pay the bills. But
100%.
really, I mean, this
Yeah.
is the horse we're riding. I mean, we're just we're on it.
And we do jobs to that we can sustain when we're on the road. These guys are able to do remote. I paint houses. He's at the pawn shop. If you're painting, you can take if you're doing your own thing, you can kind of take off for however long you're gonna save up, and then just leave. And I have a whole business rely on you. JB does, but he's able to pull it all off. He's
I do
able to do
remote.
remote. Yeah.
But
Remote.
still,
Whoa.
Yeah.
And what business? Pawn shop remote?
no, he's pawn shop. He's
Let's
pawn
say
shop.
I gotta
that's
see the
really
goals in
that's really
person.
good.
No.
You're looking at it. Yeah, I give you $20.
Yeah. That's a nice
That's
setup. We should
great.
do Zoom, Zoom pawn shop.
Like that
Yeah.
QVC thing. What's the hell is the name of that thing where you sell crap on TV?
Yeah, QVC.
Yeah, that did QVC. Do that.
Daytime.
Yeah,
Start
I
off
should.
like a
I should.
Gloucester VC. There we go.
GVC.
GVC.
Self-promotion.
Yep.
So you said, no, you're not doing the pawn shop. What are you doing?
No, I work for a transportation company.
Oh, all right.
That's a transportation manager.
Dispatch. Dispatcher.
I just get it's good because I can do it on tour. I did it when I was in England. I'm able to keep the job and still do when we toured over in England, toured across the states, able
Yeah.
to keep a job
It's hard
going.
worker.
I got kids. These guys don't have kids, so
Yeah, well,
I gotta keep it going.
but
It's
in
hard
the end,
worker.
your greatest number of hours are spent doing this.
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah. The waking hours of the night, this is what we're thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many hours a week are you putting into it? You know what I mean? Are you going in working with each other every week, I presume, for a while? Or are you not? Do you take breaks and then come back to it when you get everything put together?
Yeah, we're structuring it now to where we're meeting every week. Because there's a lot that comes with the record, we had to not only record it, but, before that we had to write it all. And we each of us sing, so we co-wrote the album together. But after we record it out here, then we have to promote it and then release it and then tour on it and then rehearse.
We've also
Just a
changed the
lot.
way we write songs now. We used to get in a room together, the four of us, and try to come up with a song from scratch together. And it just seems like there's too many heads, too many songwriters on the same song. So now we write the bones of a song, which is like a minimal instruments, and just bring it in and say, hey, this is the spirit of the song. And then everybody puts their take on the song after
But what
that.
about the lyrics?
Lyrics and the melody whoever writes the lyrics and the melody sings the song. So we all have a part in that, Right now, it's just three of us minus Zach writing songs. We hope that
Zach writes songs. Zach writes songs we need to.
but
We
eventually
need
Zach's
to
going to be a
practice
part
more
of
to
this
get
as well.
on Zach.
Yeah.
Zach,
Zach's stuff is nuts.
sounds to me like you got to write a song.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, I'm
already
working
got
on
a
that.
couple.
He's coming in
got
late,
great
but
songs.
he'll
He's
be
got
there.
a couple of great
We
ones.
wanted at the end of the show. We're talking about doing another one, but we're bringing yours on.
Go
live.
Hell yeah.
Go wild, go
All
live.
right.
You know. So
He'll
let-
shock you.
you've done a fair amount of traveling, as I understand. You got
Correct.
bopping around. You down, I think, through Atlanta and then in Texas, if I got it right.
Yeah, we toured the country a few times. It's been nice. We love it down south. They treat us well.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, they like that sound, that upbeat sound, We went to England, we'd love to go. We're up in Toronto. We'd love to go back.
Tell me about
England.
England. Like, what did you think about it? Just yourself?
Well, it was cool just to be there because you were like famous just for having an American accent.
Yeah.
Like everybody would I would order a beer in the bar and just people would just start coming up to you and being like, "Hey, you from the States and this and that."
Yeah.
Just wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
we did like on off days, we would play like a random open mic night at a random bar, just unannounced, just walk up and then just like heard American voices and everybody would turn and be,
Yeah.
but they love it. And it was cool to get just, they appreciate rock and roll a lot more over there.
Yeah.
It just seems like the culture is very driven for rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you? What was it like for you?
England was awesome. We were on tour for 4 weeks in the States, and then we went 2 weeks back to back to England. So we toured and we drove back home to Philly, repacked, and then flew from Philly to Manchester. And we did like 10 shows in 17 days, I think.
That's punching the ball.
Yeah,
Punching it.
our manager, Doug, shout out Doug, drove around. He drove us around in like a rented van. We went literally north, south, east,
On the
and
wrong
west,
side of the
all
road.
over
On the
England.
wrong side of the road too.
Yeah, on the wrong
that's
side
not
of the
good. The
road.
wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
I got in big trouble when I was a young guy before I stopped getting fucked up. But the circles are a problem over there. You know, where you
Roundabouts.
go
The
to
roundabouts,
yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I
roundabout.
got in a bad accident on that. You
Oh,
know,
damn.
like screaming at some guy for not going the right way, and lo and behold, I'm going the wrong way.
Oh, no.
Then I don't even
They
know the
all
right.
drive on the wrong side of the road.
I
every
don't
time.
know what.
crazy.
You know, I'm just like, you guys got it wrong. Okay, you got two things wrong. The way you speak English, okay, it's wrong. Okay, you got to switch that up. Those freaking whirly bird things you got to drive around on, you got that screwed up. And you got those buses, you know, those things.
Trolleys.
Yeah, okay, but the buses are like the double
The
stack
double-decker
things.
joints.
What do you
yeah.
need that for?
No, what annoyed me is all the change.
Yeah.
It's like a $20 bill is a coin. So you're walking around like a leprechaun.
There
and
we
you guys
go.
jingling and jangling down the street. And I was like, yeah.
A coin that's $1. Now that's another one. We have run into a fucking problem. Okay,
You can
I
hide
give you a
bills.
coin, and then you give me coins back. I'm like, well, what? You know, so I'm just giving coins out to everybody.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
lost, I
what
lost
the
a
hell?
$10 coin. I was like, damn, 10 bucks, dude.
I fell in love with gin in England too.
Yeah, well, that'll happen. That's
Gin
that's
was
the home of it.
absolutely delicious. They had gin tasting bars.
Ooh.
It's
That was
fantastic.
great. Yeah.
Like pink peppercorn with like a fruity juniper gin.
But it's not, you
On
know,
the
like
rocks.
it's not like my wife and her friends do this. Now around Seattle, they do this. You know, they go to these little wine things where they go around like spy, like, and they sip wine, and allegedly they know the difference between one and the other. But really, the mission is to get hammered. I mean,
Right, it's
that's
many little-
the mission. You know. So it's like, you
That's
know,
my ultimate career goal in life. To be a professional wine taster.
If you're talking about the drive of
Sommelier.
what keeps the band going, it's,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
okay, well, you're a band. You know, hard drugs, hard drinking, a lot of chicks.
Never.
So tell me about your English experience.
I ran out of money halfway through, but yeah,
Okay.
it was still great. I was
Oh, yeah,
I was
we
borrowing
were-
money from the second
Me.
poorest guy in the band.
He was borrowing money from me. That's
could
how
you
you know
pawn
it was
anything?
horrible.
Like pawn
It's
your
before he was,
shoes?
yeah. If
You
he
know?
was working the
Before-
pawn shop, we would have been good at the time.
Yeah.
No, it was awesome. It was like the coolest experience ever, and especially being out so long on the road in the States before that, and to go right over there, it was just like it's just like a dream come true as far as like a rock and roll band goes. You know, it was awesome. Like I said, by the end, I only had a couple bucks for beer, and I was like, that's all I need. This is great. The shows are awesome. So
Yeah.
it was cool.
You know, I listened to the song yours. I listened to a bunch of it last night, actually, a whole bunch of it. There was one that really jumped out at me was Miracle. Yeah, I mean, that came on, it comes on hard, and it reminded me more of kind of like 80s, 90s rock, in my opinion, you know, where it just, I heard it, and I'm like, oh, I want to keep listening to that. It just, there's something about that, whatever the hell you call it, you know, why did you do that? What made you push that? You know, because I you know, like everybody, you listen to music, shit hits you, you know, and you go like, that's one that just hit me, you know, and so I was like, wow, I got to bring that up to those guys. So
Yeah, I wrote Miracle. And I wrote it about, these guys.
I just played a goddamn instrument.
No, I had a lot of friends that were having troubles at the time, kept coming, leaning on my shoulder, telling me their problem. How do I fix it? How do I get this guy back? A girl would say, or how do I kick this drug? I keep going back, rehab, this and that. And I wanted to write a hopeful song, but I wanted it to be literally like a train running. The train of the song is the engine of the song. So I try to do a train beat, like the just like Johnny Cash would do, or something like that, underneath the music. And then I was listening to a lot of Social Distortion, 90s stuff, just like that at the same time. I wanted to have that groove going on at the same time with it. So the song's about like a miracle could happen at any moment. Like just keep trying, and eventually something will work out in your favor as long as you don't give up.
Did they
It's about
kick
not
the
giving
drug?
It's drugs are a struggle, man. But the one girl did lose the bad guy in the situation. But the guy's still
Did they get better?
the guy wrote the song about Billy, good friend of mine.
Okay.
Still struggling, still trying to get his
Well,
you know,
that's an
that's
endless
part of life.
battle.
Yeah.
Endless
Love Dylan.
battle. You know, I mean, I'm from an Irish Catholic family. Okay, right. The last count, there was like 40 of us in Philly. You know, they exiled me to Seattle. They told me just leave. You know, but anyway, the bottom line is, you know, you watch a lot of people struggle with that stuff, and you know, rip people apart. You know, rip them apart, and just keep trying. Just keep trying.
That's the song's about. Just never give up. The train's going. Just jump on it. Keep going. Keep pushing. The engine that could.
And the biggest thing is the sense of demoralization. You know, with like a few of my friends, just the complete. You know, they feel as though they're just losers. You know, but the name of the game is, can inherently something make them not feel that way, and that's really hard because people you love just start ditching on you, you know, and then so what other songs? What's a song you wrote?
I read a lot of songs. Song I wrote. What do you mean?
Well, I would say this: if I was to sit here and say, okay, XYZ listener, go turn this song on because it represents you.
The song represents me. Wow.
Do one of the new ones. We haven't released it.
Then they got to turn it on though, but it's not out yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Last record. Right?
Don't
I'd
fuck with
probably
me.
say yeah.
Well, you know, I was saying, you know, like
I'd probably say there's a song called "No Time to Waste." I think is probably a good place to start.
okay,
It's like I was listening to a lot of like Bob Dylan, Neil Young, stuff like that. And this band has always had like a rock and punk driving type of thing about it.
Yep.
But you know, that was one of the first songs I wrote where I was like, let me just take a step back and write kind of like like a Birds kind of song, or like just an acoustic chill thing. And I think that's probably the best part about the band too, is that we all write different styled songs, but we're all playing on the same songs. You know what I mean? It's the same band playing these songs.
yeah. What was the name of that song again?
It's called "No Time to Waste." Yeah, I would say that's a good one to
We
check
got
out.
Miracle. We got No Time to Waste.
Yeah.
Matt, next up.
I guess to keep on topic, I wrote a song for the last record we did called Brighton, and that was about our that like 6-week excursion between the States and going to England. That's more of like a story song, but you know, it ties into life and stuff. So I like that one a lot.
We lost Matt, and that's the story.
Yeah.
He went out drinking.
Lost me for a
We had to
night.
take a COVID test to go on a plane to get back home, and Matt was nowhere to be found. So we went out searching for him, and Matt was
Bring it.
writing a hit song, and then yeah.
A good song came out of it. As long as a good song happens from any experience, then it's all good. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
You guys
Brighton.
took some pride in doing work over COVID. You know, I was reading about that. That you
live from lockdown. is what we did.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
We wanted to keep something going. You know, we were during the whole COVID, we were writing songs for, you know, future releases. But at the time, maybe it was like halfway through, like into the summer, a few months in, our local studio called Gradwell Recording House over in Haddon Heights, New Jersey. We were
Shout
able
out
to,
Gradwell.
yeah, we were able to. We cut like a live, you know, just like a live studio album. You know, we just played the songs, did them like 1 or 2 times, a couple takes, and then just put a record out with the songs that we had done, everything leading up to COVID.
So you didn't go out and play on the road. You weren't.
No, everything was shut down. I mean, the minute things started to open up, we started trying to get out there. But even that, you had to show
How you gonna?
fax cards at the door to be able to play, and then people had to sit away from you. It was strange. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
we had a
strange time.
tour booked in England for that May of 2020, but everything was shut down by
Boom.
April.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
We did go on the road though in 2020, which was awesome. And you know, because we put an EP out the 1st of February, and we toured up until maybe like the
St.
maybe
Patrick's
10th,
Day.
maybe March 10th. We were in Cleveland and Cincinnati,
And they
and then
shut
we
the
came
world
back
down.
for 1 week, and then everything shut down. So we got it. You know, we got some
Yeah.
shows in.
I mean, that has serious. So let me ask you this: given it's a lockdown, does that just change your whole head as to the way what you're going to write? Because now you're not allowed out of a room. I mean, what are you going to read about not being allowed out of a room?
I never wrote more in my entire life because I would just wake up and I was painting at the time with Matt, but you weren't allowed to be around anybody. So we were just at home and I was just writing. And there's songs that I wrote during quarantine that are on this record that we're writing here and now out in Seattle. So I still am dipping from that well of songs. I wrote I don't even know what it was.
40 songs.
30 or 40 songs. Yeah. 30 songs in 6 months or something like that.
Wow. That's a lot of songs.
Yeah.
I just realized I have two on this record are from quarantine as well. I got one. Forgot. Yeah. You got one?
One.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're still kind of taken from that period of lockdown. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think every musician was kind of locked in.
What are you going to do?
The sound of it too. The sound is revisiting these songs during that lockdown time. The sound is wanting to break out, wanting to get out of the house or the lockdown. So that it has this energy of it trying to break out, which still comes through when we're recording the songs. As of yesterday, we're still recording these songs, but it seems like the songs want to break out and shout at you. Yeah, a message or but
it's pissed off.
Yeah,
I don't doubt about it. So what about? So now you hit the road. What's the biggest pain in the ass of hitting the road? I mean, let's say it's
money.
Nice and easy.
Very simple.
Very simple. Money. But I mean, you're hanging out together. You just 3-4 guys, I guess, if you're coming in on the last 3 weeks. But eventually, 4 of you are going to be rolling around in some rented van, right? It's got to be a little rugged on the. You got to really like each other to pull that off.
You become like a family, like brothers. You fight and you still got to talk the next day, and it's just. As much as Zac he's a great guitarist and an amazing musician. The reason we picked him is because we get along. Because that's a huge important thing, to be able to a long period of time stuck in a van, stuck in a shitty motel at Roaches and stuff. You're staring at each other. I mean, it's a lot of big long silences, being together. Awkward times, fighting times, and it's rolling with all the punches. And
it's just
we're family, so it's easier. So it's actually it's harder on Zac because he's not related.
So Zac, you're on the shit end of the stick.
I think it's funny, man. So, I'm just chilling and watching, having a good time.
On the outside. When all's said and done, blame Zac.
Right, it's easy.
What else are you going to do?
No blood.
Yeah. He started it, he kicked it off. What are we going to do? 3 weeks with us, get rid of him.
It's probably my fault, to be honest, that there is an issue. Everyone knows who really probably caused it. Someone broke the back slider and blamed it on me just because I was like, what did I do? I did nothing wrong. I'm making vodka white wine spritzers after a recording.
There we go. Okay. It sounds healthy.
Yeah.
Sounds healthy.
Keep it clean.
Yeah. You got to flush the germs out. That's the problem, because you're with these people.
I don't
all
get
sorts
sick.
of diseases.
I say I'm pickled. I don't get sick.
Pickles?
Well, pickled. You still play well when you're pickled?
Yeah, pickles preserved, yeah.
Well, do you guys believe he plays well pickled? I mean, that's kind of the inside.
I think it's the only time he plays well is when he's like that, yeah.
So where would you say was one of the, did you play anywhere where you left and just feel like, oh, that sucked? The air, you know what I mean? Because I'm a sales guy. I went on hundreds of sales calls, and they're sometimes you're just like, that guy's a dick, and
Jacksonville was rough.
Was it?
Jacksonville, we played it was a $50 motel we stayed in, roach infested. We woke up in the middle of the night, roaches all over our
The
clothes.
stay was brutal.
It was in our hat.
The show was
our
great.
hat
was-
The
the show was
venue
cool.
the
The
venue
spot was cool.
great.
But the roaches.
No, but the spot was cool, but it was a odd setup, and then it was the anniversary of one of our friends' death. So Pat was out of his mind. It was not in the
So
right
I was
place
having
to
a
play
bad
show.
day.
No,
So
but
we had to basically pull him on stage.
A few years ago, we drove to where was it? Where Detroit. So it was 11 hours out of Philly. We drove there 11 hours, and the back of our van at the time didn't have any seats, so we just beanbagged it, which is fine. We'll do it, 'cause it's going to be a great show, as always. And we got there, and they said, "Show's canceled, guys." And that was the only show we had that weekend. So, but we were like, there was a huge venue too. It was a big warehouse, and the stage. We're like, all right, well, can we still? He was like, I know photographers. He said, bring him out. So we played a full set to a photographer and a Domino's pizza guy who walked in, and it was still a good show.
The fuck? You don't have the show?
Yeah, we drove across the country.
across
and
the
Yeah, they canceled.
There's
it.
a
They
show
looked-
tonight?
They canceled at the last minute. They were like, "Oh, it's going to be a different day." We said, "Yeah, all right, awesome." 11
That's
hours
nice
or
to hear.
whatever.
Thanks a lot, assholes.
Yeah,
That's like for me, you fly. I sold in 48 of the 50 states, right? I'm a common beggar, man. Kiss ass and shake hands. We sold bags, nothing fancy. You're winning and losing on a penny every day. So, you're slugging it out. And you go all the way out to like St. Louis, and some assholes just like, you're like, "Hey, I'm here to see Joe Johnson." Like, "Yeah, Joe's not here." And you're like, "Hey, dickhead, I flew all the way out here to see you." And it's disrespectful, man. It's seriously disrespectful. Did you fight with anybody? Did you beat anybody up? Come on,
we still got to play, so we got cool pictures.
All right. Okay.
Actually, the guy with the Domino's that saved the day.
He let us
If the
crash
pizza
at
guy,
the spot.
Usually the guy that is telling you the news isn't the guy that did it. It's always like the worker guy's like, "I'm just a
They blamed it
bartender."
on
Sorry,
somebody
Blame it
else.
on
man.
the
Yeah,
promoter
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, one step back.
I was too tired from sitting in the back of the van on a beanbag for
You're
11 hours.
happy.
I said,
You're
"All right,
happy to
whatever,
do
man.
it.
Yeah, it's all
You're
right.
happy
I'm
to
going
do
back to the beanbag."
All right. What would you say is like, if you were to say, man, here's, the most, what was the best tour? Let's ask that. If you could pick one out, maybe you can't, but if you were to say, or the first two, whatever, pick it out. But what are the good ones where if I said, I want to follow these guys around and just watch them do this, where would be the one you'd pick?
South was awesome.
Yeah,
we did like
love playing down
Yeah,
south.
maybe like in 2023 or 24, like the fall of 2024, whenever it was, maybe 2 years ago, 2022. But it was, the South was great.
I'd want to hit like Nashville.
Nashville. We did Nashville like 4 times one year.
I
It was
love
awesome.
Nashville.
Nashville is great. We did Atlanta's always Smith's old bar. Shout out to Smith's, the Atlanta room in there. That was awesome.
Well-oiled machine. We just every single show we just walk out, play a
Great.
set, and just
Boom.
people that weren't believers became believers after.
People were
after
buying
seeing you.
merch, so we like we at least broke even, and we had enough money after the show to like stay at the hotel, So like that for us is like a great, when you play, when you're paying to play shows for like years and years and years, even breaking even on a tour is like, that's like, oh yes, we did. It was a great.
You cracked through.
Yeah.
So what about down? Did you get anything going in like Alabama or any of that kind of stuff?
We played Birmingham. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah. What was that? The Nick?
Yeah,
The
that
venue was
cool.
awesome. We didn't really there wasn't much of a turnout. It was like
Yeah.
it was booked a little bit last minute, and the promotion wasn't right on
Sometimes
cue.
things happen. You drive, 1,800 miles south, and there's no one there to play to. It's like, that's part of the game, It's a weekday. And
There's some great cities just to be in. Even if you got a show. I mean, we were in Savannah, Georgia, just hanging out, like drinking.
nice
I mean,
place.
It's
That's a
really
nice
nice,
place.
laid
Savannah's
back.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think since COVID, it's been tough. Even bigger bands, you're seeing them drop down the size of the venues that they're playing, and just because the overhead and the cost is too much to be touring as much as we used to.
Nowadays, though, with I'm somebody who likes. Well, I like kind of two things. I like more of like clashy kind of stuff. That's just always just who I am. I guess in '82 or at '78 to '82. That's when you're hitting your formative mind and what you really love in music. And, that's just being a young kid, just getting high and fucked up all the time. And that just seemed to be the album that went on, and it was going to be, other than late at night, the B-52s would come on sometimes, but I wouldn't say they were anything great. They just had some stupid songs you jump up and down to. But, so when you show up and there's not a lot of people there. You just punch through it. I mean, does it damage your energy?
Not at all. We're professionals, so we're gonna play the same type of show whether there's 10 people there or 10,000 people there. Doesn't matter. We have to bring it because you never know who's in the crowd. You never know who's watching. So every time we take the stage, that's our stage.
Mm-hmm.
And we love the staff and venue, and we love all that. But when it comes time with the lights on, and the curtains pulled, that's our stage.
That's it. Game on.
And that's where we thrive is live.
Mm-hmm.
We've also heard so many stories from our friends' bands that like it was always the show that they didn't think that they got discovered by somebody or somebody. It was the show that there's 5 people at. One of the 5 people was head of a record
course,
label.
you just
You never
catch
know.
'em.
Yeah.
Yeah.
also like take each, like if there's like an event like that or something like that situation where we're in where like we really got screwed over, I'm like, I can see maybe another band being like, screw this shit, man. We're done. We're not doing this anymore. And I kind of like, I take note of like times when that happens. I'm like, okay, this is a point where this is where somebody else might be like, I'm out. I'm done with this whole thing. I said, so let's kind of like dig in and double down on those moments. Like if we have like a show that doesn't go well, or we've been doing it for this many long, it's not working. I say, I can see maybe if during COVID or whatever, like, you know, the whole world shuts down. Like I could see this as a time when maybe a band like, all right, let's hang it out. I'm like, let's go, let's push harder now. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the way we operate.
Well, you know, you're selling. You know, I mean, in the end, you're doing something you love and you're selling. Now, ultimately, when I ended up having success it almost was, let me explain. It almost transcended the thing I was doing. It was just like I loved it. I was driven to it. And then it became just part and parcel to who I was, you know, and I'm going on sales calls. I'm getting 10 a day, you know, and you're getting basically told to go to hell a lot of times. So listen, you're out here in Seattle. Tell us about recording. You know, what's recording an album?
Yeah, we're out here. This is our second time coming out to Seattle. We're recording at Blash Studios with Mr. Aaron Sprinkle. It's been a pleasure. We're doing 12 songs out here, so this is a more ambitious run. It's been great. Everything's been sounding wonderful. We actually wrapped the lead vocals yesterday, and we're looking forward to do some more tracking today, actually. Yeah,
So what makes it, if you're to finish, you know, with this kind of time and you go away, you know, you're energized, I presume, you know, you're pumped, you know, and then when does the album come out? Like how long does it take from you know, we leave here now. So when would an album come out?
Probably a couple months later, you get the mixes back, which is you know, how everything sounds all together. That's once we agree on a mix, it goes to be a mastering phase. So probably within a 3 month, 4 month.
Probably early summer.
Early summer.
Early summer.
Okay. And right now it's untitled. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
What's it got a title?
Fucking Eagles.
All right.
That's great. So that's the first single.
Hell yeah.
Hate Patrick Mahomes. How's that one? There we go. That's a good one.
That's the B-side. Yeah, I mean.
So you're going all day, you know, from talking with Brian here at Blash Studios again. But anyway, you're going all day.
Yeah, we're up in the morning. We get here, you know, a couple coffees, and then we just
Waffles.
get right. Yeah, waffles in the morning.
Good.
And we just get right to tracking. Whether it's, you know, it's been
We did
it's been the
12
last week.
songs
It's
with
been
drums.
guitars. We start with the drums, and then we got right into guitars and bass. And then the last 2 days, we basically banged out all the lead vocals, which has been it's awesome. It's a marathon. But yeah, and then we go home when we're done, and then we make some food. And then we just, you know, kind of sort out what we're going to talk about, what we're going to get ready for the next day, whether it's, you know, finishing up with lyrics or guitar parts or whatever.
It's a lot of work.
It's cool. I like it because back home, you know, when we've recorded, it's great and all, but it's like you're very much in trend. You have your life is still going on. So you got your work and you come home. It's very much
routine.
Out here, it's very much we're out here for
it.
one
Yeah.
reason, and just to get this record done. And I like the laser focus when it comes to the album. It's cool.
Yeah, because at home you're going home at night. You're able to just kind of chill out, and
Yeah.
here you can't. You're on. Game on.
Mm-hmm.
We got
It's
our
like going away to
secret.
camp or
We got our
something like that,
secret
yeah.
weapon, which is Mr. Zac Tyler, for this record.
Mr. Zac Tyler.
Yes,
Bringing
indeed. Better learn the name.
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
So we're going to listen to you guys do a live performance. So what are you going to play for us, and why?
We're gonna play a song called "Don't Fuck with Me." It's off our first record.
It's a ballad.
It's a ballad, really. It's a song about really it's like Lady Luck. This is what I wrote it about. It's like Lady Luck, don't fuck with me. You know. So
Okay.
it's like maybe it's like as much as we may try and we may put our passion into it, this whole rock and roll thing. Maybe we still won't get lucky, you know. But I'm still willing to try anyway.
So we're gonna perform "Don't Fuck with Me."
Yes, indeed.
Key of C.
All right.
Acoustic.
All right. And what's that?
Acoustic.
Okay, acoustic. You're right. I say my apologies. So let's hear it. Don't fuck with me.
1, 2, 3, 4. Waking up in the afternoon, you won't be singing, but I don't mind, cause I like the way my mind races, and I found a new sound. Do me one more thing, don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. We don't want your kind around, no more. Don't fuck with the party done with you, she's living. Never let you touch her, but she'll give you a last cigarette. And I don't mind, cause I like the way the smoke tastes. And I found a new sound. Do me one more thing, don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. We don't want your kind around, no more. Don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. I can't tell if I'm the cure.
Thank you for listening to The Mark Howley Show. If you found this story as intriguing as we did, give us a like, share the episode, and subscribe at The Mark Howley Show. New episodes every other Friday. Adios.